Today we're going to make some symmetrical lanterns for our Ramadan project. Now I have some ideas for lantern shapes for you to look at, and we're going to be creating lanterns in 3 sizes. We're going to make large, medium, and small. This will give our project an illusion of space because the large lanterns will look closer and the smaller ones will look like they're far away. So in order to make our lanterns symmetrical, that means that they are the same on both sides if you drew a line down the center, we are going to fold each of our papers in half like a hot dog bun. So not like this, but the skinny way. So just line it up the best you can, press it down, and crease it. Now you can come up with your own designs for lanterns, but I really like looking at the traditional designs because they're so beautiful. So since we're doing symmetry for this project, you have to sort of imagine the line of symmetry that goes through each lantern. Because when we draw our lantern, we're actually only going to be drawing half of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the side of our paper that has the fold, okay? This is the side that we're going to start drawing on. If you do it on the other side, your shape's not going to work. So I'm going to try to draw this lantern over here that has sort of the curved shapes on top and bottom. So I'm going to start at the very, very tip-top corner, and I'm going to draw a curved line that comes out, sort of similar to what this one has. If it's not perfect, that's totally fine. And then I'm going to draw a little extra bump there for fun. I'm going to draw a straight line that comes down, just like so. Another little bump for fun, and then it goes in and curves back in, sort of like that. And I went all the way from the top to the bottom of my paper. I want to make my lantern take up as much space as possible. Now, once you have drawn half of your lantern shape, we are going to leave this paper folded and we're going to cut out on our line. When my lantern's cut out, when I open it back up, I should have a lantern shape that's symmetrical. It's exactly perfectly the same on both sides. So I'm just going to repeat this process, folding my papers and drawing different lantern shapes until I have several lanterns cut out. Now when I have my lanterns cut out, I'm going to use my warm colored paper to create some light shapes for the inside of my lantern. So this part is a lot easier if you begin by tracing your lantern shape first. So I know that I want my biggest lights to be sort of through the center part of my lantern. So I'm going to lay my lantern on a piece of my paper that I think looks pretty. I think I'm going to do this top part. And I'm just going to trace that shape. I don't have to trace the whole thing down here. I'm just going to trace the part where I want my lights to go. Okay, so now I have those guidelines. And if you want, you can even sort of enclose that shape just to kind of give you more guidelines. Now, to decide what shapes I'm going to draw in this area, I'm once again going to look at some ideas. We could do curved shapes, we could do more pointed triangular top shapes, you could invent totally new shapes. I think for this one, I'm going to draw some of the triangular shapes. So I'm just very carefully sketching out the shapes that I want. And I'm leaving a little space in between each piece, just like in the handout. And if you make a mistake with your sketches, you can just erase. Try to make sure that you draw lightly so that when you do erase something, it erases completely from the paper. So I'm just going to keep on drawing my shapes, and when I'm happy with them, I'm going to cut them out. Now, since I traced my shape ahead of time, when I lay these shapes out, they should fit perfectly within the space of my lantern. And they stand out so nicely on that black background. They really look like they're glowing. So lay them out to make sure you have them in the right place, and then we're going to glue each piece down with just a small amount of glue. Now, after I have done one area of lights on a lantern, it looks really good if you add lights to a second or even third area of your lantern as well, to really make them look like they're glowing. When you have all of your glass shapes added to your lantern, we're going to do a couple last things to really make them shine. Using a metallic colored pencil, we're going to go around the edge of each lantern and sort of outline it. Now on the very edge, I'm pressing pretty hard, but then as I get towards the center, I'm fading it a little bit. So this makes it kind of look like the metal part of the lantern is sort of shining in all of the candlelight. And it's also giving it kind of like a three-dimensional look. So just outlining and giving just a little bit of shine around the edges. One last thing I like to do to really, really make the windows look like they're shining is I take a white or a yellow or both oil pastel and I give it a little swirl. And I'm actually gonna clean this dirty white pastel off because I don't want any weird colors in my lantern. And then I can just give that a little spiral in the center and then a little bit of yellow on top of that. So it looks like the flame of a candle inside. Just be careful not to get any oil pastel on the black paper, just on the watercolored paper. When you have gotten windows and shine outline on all of your lanterns, then you are complete.